Where does your mind return to effortlessly? I was listening to something by Garnet Dupree, the maker of the neuro light, and he said something very interesting, something I take for granted because I've been doing this a while. The self-directed neuroplasticity exercises are routine to me, and I take for granted that other people do these things, and it's brought me back to a different place, a past time. So the question is, what does your mind return to effortlessly? In other words, when you get up from your meditation, or you get up from your neuroplastic exercise, where does your rumination go? Where do your thoughts go when you're not directing them? See, that's the gift of neuroplasticity, is where your thoughts go effortlessly. So the calm abiding, that's what he referred to it as, of your thoughts. And when you're at your desk or driving in your car, where's your head at? That's the real state of your mind. That's the reinforcement that you're giving your mind. And that's actually the energy, if you're into that kind of thing. That's the coherence. That's the bubble you're creating, is that which is effortless. Now, there's an effortless beyond all effortlessness anyhow, which is a complete stillness, and you can abide in that. However, in the meantime, it's something to check in with yourself. And you could be a long-time meditator. You could be watching and say, wow, I've been at this for my whole life, and you feel very advanced. But ask yourself, where do your thoughts return to? And have you created that inner monologue in such a way that your thoughts return to a state of peace or contentment or positivity? And that's the training that I invested in. And what I did, and why I love it so much, self-directed neuroplasticity is it, man. It's because that inner monologue, you cannot escape dogs. The inner monologue in my life, my resting state, even under stress, the inner monologue goes back to a positive reinforcement, whether it's gratitude. And that positive reinforcement in the inner monologue then has the elevated emotion connected to it. So my resting state is an elevated emotion, and that elevated emotion produces the hormones. Those hormones produce the proteins produce the body, so the body becomes more healthy. And if you're into chi and energy, so that resting state is an elevated state, and so the field is coherent. And what does that do? Coherence makes more coherence, so others that interact with me become more coherent, and not the other way around. So there's a protective measure in all of that as well. So wherever you're at, whether you're just getting interested in these things or if you've been thinking about them for a long time, a simple practice is just to, after you've sat down in your formal meditation or you've done your yoga or whatever wellness thing you're doing, notice where your thoughts go in the resting state when you're not doing something intentionally. That's a nice benchmark for where you are energetically and what reinforcements you're giving your biology. And if you want to change that, the steps are simple. You're going to become the witness to the thought. You get some separation there. And as you separate out the inner monologue from the perceiver of the monologue, sense it, feel it in your body. Allow that narrative to play out. Find the part of the narrative that you want to change. That's interrupting the program. That alone is being very mindful. And then you're going to select a new piece of inner monologue, a new narrative, something that you create, and you're going to elevate the emotion in association with that new piece of inner monologue. You're going to hold that emotion for 20 seconds at a time all throughout the day. So self-directed neuroplasticity, it doesn't just take place one time in the morning and then you just go back to your whatever you're doing. It's going to take place all day, throughout the day, even at night. It's an active practice. It's not passive and sitting back and then you off to see the wizard. It's basically interrupting the monologue, plugging in a new piece of emotional information, elevating the emotion, having a felt sense in your body, and allowing that body to feel from head to toe this new emotion. And there's time involved. 20 seconds at a time is the standard. Longer might be better. And what's happening during that 20 seconds, why it's important, is because you're creating new information for your brain to file away in a, let's say, different memory. Becomes a memory. Different than as your mind filters out all the noise and essentially that's all it's doing all day long in creating this clear signal. So unless you hold that emotion, then it's just going to be put in short-term memory and tossed out at the end of the day. So anyway, become the witness. And from the position of the witness, select a new mundane or a new consciousness or a new narrative, however you want to word that. Plug that new narrative in, associate an elevated emotion with it, and allow that elevated emotion to wash through your body from head to toe. And what you will find is that that carries over into the times when you're not in your practice. And this, my friend, is the beginning of real change, of changing your biology. And it's the clearest path that I can see. So anyway, ask yourself, where's your mind resting when you're not practicing? What thoughts do you return to when you're not intending your thoughts? That is the neuroplastic reinforcement. That's where you're actually at. So anyway, hope this helps.